Robbie Williams has lived a life of extraordinary highs and public scrutiny. From his rise as a teen idol with Take That, to his solo career as one of Britain's biggest pop stars, Williams has been no stranger to the surreal. But among all the tabloid headlines, world tours, and sold-out stadiums, there's one story that stands apart from his usual fame-fueled chaos. A story he himself has repeated over the years. And one that still fascinates fans and skeptics alike. Because according to Robbie Williams, one of his former homes wasn't just luxurious. It wasn't just a celebrity estate tucked into the English countryside. It was haunted. And not just haunted by some nameless Victorian spirit or the residual echoes of history, but, as he claimed, by the spirit of another celebrity, a star from the past. This is the chilling, bizarre story of Robbie Williams' haunted house, his encounters with the unexplainable, and the ghostly presence he swears once lingered in his halls. To understand why Robbie's claim struck such a chord, you have to understand the man himself. Born in 1974 in Stoke-on-Trent, Williams joined the boy band Take That at just 16. By his early 20s, he was already one of the UK's biggest stars. But fame came with a price: substance abuse, burnout, and a long struggle with mental health that would later become part of his public narrative. Williams has never been shy about his interest in the paranormal. In interviews spanning over 2 decades, he has openly discussed UFOs, psychic phenomena, and his fascination with ghosts. He once admitted to spending hours scouring UFO websites and even attending conventions about extraterrestrials. So when he later claimed his home was haunted, many fans thought, if any celebrity was going to talk about a ghost in his house, it would be Robbie Williams. But even for him, this story stood out. The setting for this strange chapter was Compton Bassett House, a sprawling 18th-century manor in Wiltshire. Williams purchased the Grade II listed estate in 2009 for a reported £8.1 million. With 71 acres of land, a helicopter pad, a private tennis court, and nearly 20,000 square feet of living space, it was the kind of property that embodied British aristocratic grandeur. But like many ancient English manors, it also came with a history. Compton Bassett House had passed through numerous owners over the centuries and had been rebuilt several times, including after a major fire in the 1920s. Even before Williams moved in, locals whispered that the house had a reputation for being spooky, the kind of place where you might hear footsteps echoing in an empty corridor or feel a sudden chill in a forgotten room. For Williams, it was supposed to be a retreat from the chaos of fame. But it quickly became something else. Williams later told interviewers that almost as soon as he moved in, he began to sense something was off. He'd wake up in the middle of the night feeling as if someone were in the room. Lights flickered for no reason. Doors creaked open on their own. He described the atmosphere as heavy and strange, particularly in the older wings of the mansion. Initially, he brushed it off. Big, old houses make noises. They shift and creak with age. But the more time he spent there, the more he became convinced there was something, or someone, else sharing the house with him. The real bombshell came when Williams told The Sun and later GQ that he believed the spirit in the house was no ordinary ghost. He described it as the presence of a star, a famous person from the past, who he believed had died on the grounds or had some connection to the estate. He didn't name the figure outright, but tabloids quickly began speculating about who it could be. Some pointed to the house's connection to Sir Harold Vernher, a wealthy aristocrat whose family had ties to British royalty and show business figures. Others wondered if Williams was speaking metaphorically, that he felt haunted by the star persona of his own past, or by the pressures of fame. But Williams was adamant. This wasn't a metaphor. He insisted the house was literally haunted by the ghost of a star. Though he has never given a detailed, step-by-step account of each encounter, Williams has hinted at several eerie experiences. In one interview, he recalled seeing shadowy figures in the hallway late at night. In another, he described hearing music playing faintly in empty rooms, as if someone were performing on an old gramophone. He also claimed that guests who stayed at the house reported similar feelings, sudden chills, the sensation of being watched, or dreams about people they'd never seen before. At least one guest, he said, refused to stay overnight again after a particularly intense experience. It wasn't scary like a horror film, Williams once explained. It was more like a feeling that you weren't alone, that someone was there with you, watching. To this day, no one has definitively linked a celebrity's death to Compton Bassett House. But its long history includes enough shadows to fuel speculation. During World War II, parts of Wiltshire were used for military operations, and some believe soldiers may have been billeted on the property. Others point to the family tragedies of previous owners, including sudden deaths and financial ruin. Paranormal researchers note that old estates often carry what's called residual energy, echoes of past events imprinted on the location. And when a famous person like Williams moves in, that energy may become more noticeable or intense. Whether or not a star really died there, the legend of Williams' haunted house took on a life of its own. Williams only lived at Compton Bassett House for a few years. In 2021, he put the property up for sale for £6.75 million, a significant loss. Officially, the reason was practical. The house was simply too big for his family, especially after he and his wife, Ada Field, began spending more time abroad. But fans and tabloids couldn't help but speculate that the ghostly presence had something to do with it. After all, Williams had been vocal about his discomfort in the house. And in 2022, he finally sold the estate to a new owner. The story of the haunted house is just one chapter in Williams' lifelong fascination with the paranormal. In addition to his ghost stories, he has spoken repeatedly about UFOs. In a now-famous 2008 interview, he claimed he once saw a UFO after asking for a sign while writing a song called Arizona. He's also expressed interest in hosting or participating in paranormal investigation shows, and at one point was rumored to be collaborating with a major network on a documentary about UFOs. For fans, his claim about the haunted house fits perfectly into his persona, a mix of cheeky humor, vulnerability, and a genuine curiosity about the unknown. When Williams first mentioned the haunted house, British tabloids went wild. Headlines blared, "Robbie haunted by ghost of star in his mansion." Some painted it as a quirky anecdote, others as evidence of Williams' eccentricity. Skeptics dismissed the story as a publicity stunt or a misinterpretation of ordinary sounds. But paranormal enthusiasts took it seriously. Online forums filled with theories about which star might be haunting Compton Bassett House. Was it an old aristocrat? A secret Hollywood guest from the estate's past? Or some wandering spirit drawn to Williams himself? Williams' story highlights a fascinating pattern. Celebrities and hauntings go hand in hand. From Miley Cyrus's haunted London apartment, to Rihanna's spooky mansion, to Adele's creepy country home, stars often report ghostly experiences. Some psychologists suggest that life at the top can make celebrities more sensitive to their surroundings. The isolation of large estates, the pressure of fame, and the endless nights away from family can heighten anxiety and maybe make unusual experiences feel more intense. Others argue that celebrities, like anyone else, can simply end up living in places with strange histories. Today, Williams lives between multiple properties, including homes in Los Angeles, Switzerland, and London. He's left Compton Bassett House behind, but he hasn't stopped mentioning it in interviews. Even years later, he'll bring up the strange energy he felt there. "It was beautiful," he said in one radio appearance, "but there was something about it that didn't feel right. Like someone else was there. A star." Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the image of one of Britain's most famous pop stars pacing the halls of a centuries-old mansion, feeling watched by a spectral star, is unforgettable. The story of Robbie Williams' haunted house is part ghost story, part celebrity confessional. It blurs the line between superstition and psychology, between tabloid fodder and a man's sincere belief that he wasn't alone. Was the house truly haunted by a star? Was Williams experiencing the stress and isolation of fame? Or was it something stranger still, a combination of history, energy, and a pop icon whose curiosity about the paranormal may have opened him up to experiences most of us never will? Whatever the truth, Compton Bassett House now stands as a silent witness to a mystery that will likely never be solved. And Robbie Williams, for all his success and skepticism, remains one of the few stars willing to admit, yes, My house was haunted, and not just by anyone. Because in the world of fame, sometimes even the ghosts are celebrities.